Hello, my name is Matthew, and I got two new books in the mail that are new translations of books that I've already read. But before I show them, I want to show you the book that I'm reading right now, which is Clarissa, The History of a Young Lady by Samuel Richardson. And this is my second attempt on tackling this behemoth, almost a cartoonishly large, oversized Penguin classic that I'm so appreciative that they decided to make. Um, this is another step on my through line of books that started with my reading of Cousin Bet, which made me think of reading Othello by Shakespeare, which made me think of reading Dangerous Liaisons by Charles de Laclos, and uh, reading Dangerous Liaisons and having just another, having a different perspective or more insight. I really feel like has given me a skeleton key or like a keyhole, a different keyhole perspective into this book. I've read about 100, maybe 80 pages, and I'm significantly enjoying it much more than I did maybe 2 years ago. I think I made a video talking about giving up this gigantic book. So, the new books that I got, I'll show the original book that I read, and then I'll show the new translation that has come out. So, All Quiet on the Western Front. This is a Ballantine book edition. It has the Netflix logo because there was a recent Netflix series made, which I've heard is quite good, but I have not read it. And I only read this relatively recently. Maybe I read it in high school. I don't remember. But it's a war novel, and it was powerful. It was really a great, straightforward, gripping, depressing novel about war, just exposing not only the senselessness of what it must be like to senselessness and confusion that it must be like to actually be in warfare, but the youth of the characters and how quickly they are embittered and hardened and thrown back into service and thrown back into service and having injuries and heartbreak and death and loss and hurt and pain. I found it quite moving. I don't know if I made a video talking about this when I read it. I can't, I really can't remember. But this was translated by, is it going to tell me? So it's by Eric Marie Remarek, translated from the German A.W. Wien, and it's an old translation. I know that. I think from the 1950s, but I really liked it. And earlier this year, there was a new translation that came out, translated by Kurt Beals. And it's a wonderful, I feel like a really captivating cover. And I haven't read it yet. I actually got it earlier this year. I had this pre-ordered for the publication date, which I can't remember. And I haven't gotten to it because I've been distracted by all the great reading that I've been doing. But I'm very much looking forward to this. And the second new translation, and I'll show the book that I'm more familiar with, and this is Lives of the Caesars by Suetonius. This is an Oxford World's Classic, And this is translated by Catherine Edwards. Um, and I've actually gone through this several times. I don't know if I've read it cover to cover more than once, but I've gone back to certain people like the deified Julius or deified Augustus, which is really great. Also Otho and Galba. I think I made videos about them, which is actually quite funny. And I think it concludes with Domitian as the last. Domitian, yeah, he's the last one. But we have these amazing biographies of the lives of Caesars, the most influential, powerful people in the world at the time. And we get biographies of Caesar and Augustus, Tiberius, Caligula, Claudius, Nero, and then we start getting into the year of the four Caesars, I think. Nero, Galba, Otho, Vitellius, Vespian, and then Titus, and then Domitian. And what's wonderful about these, they remind me a lot of the biographies of Plutarch, but they're more anecdotal. There's more detail, small elements of things that they're doing, and eccentricities, and things that make them feel more like just being Caesars and actually being people. And then you also get the morality and ethical questions of being some big ruler like that. So this was a book that I've found very companionable. The author and the translator that brought this author to life for me, and I've been very excited about this. I got it earlier in the week. I was busy because I had to go to work, but I got this in the mail, and this is a fantastic cover, I think. It's The Lives of the Caesars by Suetonius and translated by Tom Holland, the historian, not the actor, obviously. And this is, I think it's Penguin. How come it doesn't say easily? Penguin Classics, yeah. And Tom Holland's name became familiar to me maybe last year. I was at a bookstore and there was, to me, a new translation of the Histories by Herodotus, translated by Tom Holland. And I had read the Histories by Herodotus by, is it Aubrey de Selincourt, I think, as a Penguin Classic, which I love. It's just an amazing book. And I think the last time I read the Histories of Herodotus cover to cover was it must have been the Tom Holland translation. And for as much as I've got along with the Histories of Herodotus through Aubrey de Selincourt's translation, I did feel like Tom Holland was maybe more immediate or more contemporary, more straightforward. I'm not quite sure what the language, I don't know how to articulate the language, but I found it very readable and really enjoyed it. So now I have Suetonius, who I already find companionable and readable, by Kathleen Edwards, and now someone that I'm feel pretty confident is going to have like a really maybe like a big breath of fresh air into antiquity. I'm not quite sure. And I think this, I've looked through it, but yeah, it's complete. We have Julius, Augustus, Tiberius, Gaius, Claudius, Nero, Galba, Otho, Vitellius, Vespian, Titus, and Domitian. And it should be noted, I'm also excited for the new introduction and new notes, which I don't know if it tells me easily. The introduction is by Tom Holland, and I'm assuming the notes are by him too, but I don't see that easily. And so, yeah, right now, you might not see me for a while unless it's kind of little flickering videos like this, but I did order a book today. When it comes in, maybe I'll talk about that. But I feel like I'm determined to get through this behemoth as long as I'm enjoying it, but I want to give it more than I did the last time. And then at some point, I'm not quite sure, but because I read All Quiet on the Western Front very recently, a few months ago, and I go to Suetonius like fairly often, so I'm not quite sure when I'll get to this, and I'm not quite sure when I'm gonna read this cover to cover. Hopefully soon, but I'm not making any promises. So let me know. Let me know if you've read Clarissa by Samuel Richardson, or any variety of translation of All Quiet on the Western Front, or The Lives of the Caesars by Suetonius. Really attractive covers, I think. And even though I'm not going to be reading them immediately, I'm still excited. So that's what I have. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment if you would like. Thank you, and take care.